Don't you ever forget your lube. Chain lube, that is. Hey, what's good, guys? Today I want to give you a few pointers on how to prevent your chain and sprockets from wearing out so quickly. Obviously, as most of you know, chain and sprockets receive tons of abuse on a bike, and keeping them lubricated is really critical. Implement a few of these simple tips and your chain and sprockets should last much longer. The first step is cleaning your chain. This is the chain degreaser I prefer here, Maxima Chain Cleaner. You can use any other degreaser such as Simple Green or Purple Power. Those will work just as well. Always apply your degreaser to the inside of the chain and let it sit for a few minutes to soak in. After the degreaser has set for a few minutes, wash it out with a garden hose or a pressure washer with a wide tip. And with the pressure washer, definitely don't get within 12 inches of the chain. Immediately follow that up with a rust inhibitor such as MPPL or WD-40. That'll just prevent the chain from rusting. I'll usually let the MPPL soak for a few minutes before applying chain lube. You want to spray your chain lube on the inside of the chain as well. The inside of the chain is actually what contacts the teeth of the sprocket. So spraying it there obviously makes sense. And also it helps prevent the chain lube from flinging off so quickly. I'll apply chain lube until it starts to drip slightly on the chain slider here. At that point, you've got plenty of lube in your chain. Ideally, you'd like to apply chain lube every day you ride the bike. And if you're at the track all day, I'd recommend putting on chain lube halfway through the day. Of course, it's easiest to apply chain lube when your bike's on the stand, but if all you have is a triangle stand like this, you can still accomplish this by leaning your bike on the side, get your wheel off the ground, and spin the wheel with your hand. It's always a good idea to inspect your chain and sprockets. Here's the difference between a good one and a bad one. You can see obviously the worn one, the teeth are bent forward and the tip of the tooth is worn down quite a bit. Next, we're going to inspect the chain. Here is a really badly worn chain. You definitely don't want your chain looking like this, and here's a chain that has very little wear. You're always going to have some side-to-side slop here, but definitely nothing like this one. While we're at it, we're going to check out the chain sliders and chain roller as well. So take a look, make sure your chain slider isn't worn all the way through here. And your chain roller, make sure there's no up and down movement. There's also one up underneath here as well. Check that too. Your chain guide has a slider in it as well. What we're looking for here is making sure there's enough material left in the block. So someone has quite a bit left. You definitely don't want it wearing all the way through and through your chain slider or your chain guide. One last thing to check here is the front of the chain slider. Underneath, I see it quite often. The chain will actually wear through the slider into the swing arm and into the pivot bearing. And at that point, the swing arm's shot. It needs to be replaced. If you guys are curious about adjusting your chain or proper chain tension, I just did a video on that recently, and I'll put the link to that below. And as always, feel free to put any questions you might have in the comments. I read them all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.